Just hours after clinching the House of Representatives, Republicans setting the stage for a long list of investigations against President Biden.
I want to be clear. This is an investigation of Joe Biden, and that's where the committee will focus in this next Congress.
Investigating President Biden is something Republicans have been promising they'd do ever since he took office.
It's no secret that I've introduced, I think I'm up to 6 articles of impeachment on Joe Biden.
If we don't engage in impeachment inquiries to get the documents and the testimony and the information we need, then I believe that our voters will feel betrayed.
I'm not going to give up on my investigation of Hunter Biden.
All right, there you hear it from Senator Grassley. The investigation into Joe Biden's son, Hunter. It is one of the top probes Republicans are promising tonight. And in fact, it is something that they've been talking about. It goes all the way back to 2019 when President Biden was just a candidate. Then President Trump pressured Ukraine's president to investigate Hunter, who had business dealings in Ukraine. It happened during a call about aid to Ukraine, a call, of course, which you may remember became the linchpin of the first impeachment trial against President Trump. But here's the thing. In a new Pew poll taken during the midterm elections, Americans ranked an investigation of Hunter Biden at 17 in terms of things that were important to their vote. 17. And yet Republicans tonight are still moving full steam ahead on this investigation, a major power play as they prepare to take over the House. And as Democrats are trying to figure out their next move in Congress after the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced she's stepping down from her leadership post.
I will not seek re-election to Democratic leadership in the next Congress. For me, the hour's come for a new generation to lead the Democratic caucus that I so deeply respect. And I'm grateful that so many are ready and willing to shoulder this awesome responsibility.
Sarah Murray begins our coverage tonight out front in Washington. And Sarah, what more are you learning about these planned investigations by Republicans?
Well, Aaron, Republicans made it clear today that they just don't want to dig into Hunter Biden. They want this to be broader. They want this to be about President Joe Biden. They began to lay a roadmap forward about how they plan to do that. And it's very clear this is just the beginning.
After clinching the majority in the U.S. House, GOP lawmakers are gearing up for the subpoena power they'll inherit in January, outlining a broad range of investigative targets, many aimed squarely at President Biden, his son Hunter, and his family's business dealings.
We would love to talk to people in the Biden family, specifically Hunter and Jim Biden.
Republican Congressman James Comer set to become oversight chairman, vowing to focus on bank records, known as suspicious activity reports, or SARs, from financial institutions and allegedly related to transactions by Biden family members.
We will continue to pursue all evidence, and specifically the SARs and bank records in the new Congress.
While Comer has claimed the reports indicate problematic behavior,
red flags were raised by banks to the account owner or owners indicating suspicious or illegal activity.
Such reports are not conclusive and don't necessarily indicate wrongdoing. Millions of suspicious activity reports are filed each year, and few lead to law enforcement inquiries. GOP Congressman Jim Jordan, set to lead House Judiciary, also teasing plans to investigate the Justice Department and the FBI.
We're going to look at the politics at the Justice Department based on the fact that we have had 14 different, actually more than 14 now, whistleblowers come talk to us.
Comer firing off letters seeking more information to further GOP probes, requesting suspicious activity reports from Treasury, information about Hunter Biden's art sales from a gallery owner, and communications from a former Hunter Biden business partner related to Hunter and Joe Biden's finances, taxes, and debts. The president has repeatedly insisted he had nothing to do with his son's overseas business dealings.
We've always kept everything separate.
And in a 2019 interview, Hunter Biden admitted to poor judgment but not wrongdoing when it came to his business ventures.
I think that it was poor judgment on my part. Did I do anything improper? No, not in any way.
A spokesman for the White House counsel's office slammed Thursday's announcement as political revenge, saying Republicans' top priority is to go after President Biden with politically motivated attacks, chock full of long-debunked conspiracy theories.
Now, federal prosecutors have also been investigating Hunter Biden since 2018. They have not brought any charges in that matter yet, and Hunter Biden has broadly denied any kind of wrongdoing related to that. We also reached out to private lawyers for Biden family members today. They did not respond to our request for comment.
All right, Sarah, thank you very much for that report. So after Sarah's reporting, let's now go to the Democratic Congressman Jerry Connolly of Virginia, because he's running to be the top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee, which of course is the committee that would likely lead many of the Biden investigations. And, you know, we just heard Mr. Comer there talking. Congressman Connolly, the incoming Republican of your committee says in no uncertain terms that the focus of the committee in the next Congress will be investigating Joe Biden. What do you say to him?
Well, this is a shop-worn approach by the Republicans in our committee, and it involves, you know, some really extraordinary tools in the kit bag. You know, insinuation, slander, fabrication, disinformation, conspiracy-based theories that take you nowhere. And if you look at the history of the Republicans when they're in the majority, when we last had a Democratic president, President Obama, time and time again, they had these breathless, headline-grabbing investigations that went absolutely nowhere. Benghazi, the IRS manufactured scandal about right-wing filters and nonprofit status, the Hillary Clinton emails, on, and none of them produced a thing except breathless headlines that gave them the narrative they wanted at the time.
So, of course, there's another way to look at this, and this is that when Democrats won the House in 2018, right, so you all got control, multiple committees, including the Oversight Committee, launched multiple investigations into Trump and his administration. I think it was something like 35 total, 13 in your committee alone. How is this any different than that?
I think the premise of that question really is faux equivalence. To compare Joe Biden to Donald Trump, who, you know, even Robert Mueller suggested had engaged in criminal activity that was worth following up on, and there are multiple ongoing criminal investigations in New York, in Atlanta, and at the federal level in the Department of Justice involving his company, involving his behavior in terms of trying to interfere with and overturn an election, his incitement of an insurrection. I don't think there's any equivalence between that and whether Joe Biden has a son who showed good or bad judgment, as he said. I think they're very different things.
So Speaker Pelosi today announced that after being the first and only woman Speaker of the House and leading Democrats for 2 decades, that she's going to step down from her leadership post. She said, you know, you heard her just a moment ago, that it's time for a new generation. Now, one name, Congressman, that has been mentioned repeatedly as her likely successor is Congressman Hakeem Jeffries from the state of New York. Does he have your vote?
Yes, he does. I think Hakeem Jeffries is just a measured, tested, highly skilled member. I think he can easily engender the trust across the caucus, irrespective of the ideological spectrum. And I think he shows a lot of pragmatic political common sense that will serve all of us very well. So I think Hakeem Jeffries is a superb choice to begin to fill the big shoes of Nancy Pelosi.
And now, though, is there any way in this situation, right, you get a new leader, if it's Congressman Jeffries, that's who it will be, but where you have Republicans going down all these investigative routes, that you and they can work together on anything? Is it possible that while they're investigating Hunter Biden and all over the airwaves doing that you're also passing legislation together?
Yeah, I think we can, you know, chew gum and walk at the same time. We're gonna certainly push back on what we think are completely groundless so-called investigations, which are designed for one purpose only, and that is to undermine the legitimacy of a Democratic administration, namely Joe Biden, as they did during the Obama years, and it didn't work because we did effectively push back. But in terms of cooperation, I would point out that the very same gentleman, Mr. Comer, the incoming chairman of our committee, we worked well together on postal reform. We worked well together on some federal information technology legislation to upgrade and modernize technology for the federal government. So we actually do have a history of cooperation where we can find common ground, and we should continue to seek to find common ground.
All right, thank you very much, Congressman Connolly.